Midnight Double Feature presents Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. On this episode, we bring you Season 3, Episode 2, Caballo sin Nombre, written by Peter Gould and directed by Adam Bernstein. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast, where we cover all things Breaking Bad. We're diving into Season 3, Episode 2, Caballo sin Nombre. Colin, what's happening? Welcome back.
Because I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. I love that song. I'm great, dude. I love that song. It was a great addition on the San Andreas soundtrack. That was a fantastic song.
Dude, I remember it. I remember it so well.
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk about this episode.
Yeah, I'm keen to get into this too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us again here on Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast hosted by yours truly. We are Midnight Double Feature. If you haven't heard of us, I don't know why you haven't heard of us on episode 2 of season 3, but here we are. You can check out our socials. They're in the case notes. Case notes? No. That's my profession.
That's your law speak.
The show notes. The show notes on whatever app you're using, if it's Spotify, if it's Apple iTunes, you can check it out in the show notes. They're right there. Follow us on whatever social media you may have, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. And please follow us on our Patreon. Support the show, support the shows, rather, plural. We have two shows. Yeah. We have Bad Crystal right here, and then we have our main feed, which is called Midnight Double Feature. Head to patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature to support the show. Let's dive into this episode. This is season 3, episode 2. What do you think about this episode? There's a lot of familial, drama here. Less so on the methamphetamine side of things, or the DEA side of things. A lot more
aftermath.
The issues here are a lot more intimate, I think, to Walt and to Skyler in particular, and to Walt Jr., I guess. What did you think about this episode as a whole?
I liked it pretty good. It was definitely, I don't want to say a slower paced episode, but it's not like there was any, you don't even see any drugs in this episode. You don't see anything illegal. Well, I don't want to say anything illegal occur. I think Breaking Bad has, like, we have to break the law twice per episode. Like, get a guy and make him fucking double park. We have to do something. Like, we got to have something going on. But beyond a little breaking and entering, some Patriot Act wiretapping going on in that house. I don't really know what else. It's like
maybe a little bit of littering on Walt's part with the pizza box.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe Walt's still wearing whitey tighties. Come on, dude. Like that? No, that's not what.
Whitey tighties?
Yeah. Oh, whitey tighties, whatever you want to call them. Like, I'm like, what? Are you 7? Did you just piss your bed? Like, why? That's a pair of underwear you wear on like laundry day, and you get that weird pair that's like in the back of your drawer, and you're like, I don't know why I bought those. They're not comfortable.
You gotta rock it. You got nothing else, man.
Ugh. But I did enjoy this episode because we're seeing like the aftermath of what has been an issue of like the first couple of seasons so far, is keeping Skyler and everybody else out of the loop of exactly what's going on with Walter, and to finally see the ramifications from that. If you hold, for lack of a better term, if you hold that nut in those 2 seasons of like nobody knows, and finally somebody knows what's going on, then the shockwave of that is going to be enormous. And I think that's why what is this? You said this is the second episode. It feels like we're 4 episodes into the 3rd season. It's like, man, a lot has fucking changed. A lot has changed in, 2 episodes. And a a good chunk of it off screen, which I'm not like a huge fan of, but I do appreciate kind of like the time jump a little bit. It does kind of solve maybe stuff that wouldn't be as entertaining to watch as what would be the fallout from everything. And I think that
what are you referring to in particular when you're
like the fallout and stuff?
The off-screen stuff that you're not particularly a fan of happening off-screen.
Like actually seeing Walter move out, actually see them have the conversation of like, wow, this is really like, I'm done, I'm defeated. It seemed like there was, I would say, of like a 3-month jump in between seasons. It felt like about a 3-month jump because like it's not like Walt's living out of boxes. Like he's pretty much moved into this place. And I think kind of seeing because it's like nobody's really asking Skyler what happened, and it feels like somebody did once, and Skyler was like, "Don't fucking ask me that anymore," because everybody's really tense when the source of like why comes up, and it seems like there's definitely been some issues with that. But I love what they're doing with Walter Jr. I love what's going on with Jesse, and it's really crazy to see Walt's personal life start to hit rock bottom. And it's like weirdly as a result, because like, you know, I don't want to say it's Walt's fault that Jesse's life hit rock bottom, but Walt also didn't do anything to stop Jessica Jones from dying, whatever fucking name is. Jane, there you go. No, I think that's I think that's something where it's like now we're seeing the downfall of Walt's personal life, whereas Jesse is now back climbing
on the uptick.
Yeah, he's on the uptick, and Jesse feels like he feels like Darth Maul when the weird phaser things come up between him and Qui-Gon Jinn, and like Darth Maul is just pacing back and forth, and you can tell he's so ready to explode, and it's like it feels like Jesse is kind of ready to explode.
You're gonna have to bail on that analogy. I can't.
What, Darth Maul?
It's not one of your better ones.
I know. I'm only full of so much wisdom. We're fucking like 300 episodes in on everything. Fuck. But I think it's a good episode, especially showing where everybody's position is in the aftermath of everything. You know, it's like being gone for the summer and coming back, and friendships have changed, dynamics have changed, relationships have changed. And I think that's something that's interesting. It seems like we get a bite of everybody's shit. We see where Hank and Marie are at. We see where Walt Jr.'s at. We see what's going on with, is it, what's her boss's name? Tim? Tom?
Ted.
I was close. But it's like the shorter the name, the less, it's like some guy named Al. I just never fucking remember it. But the interesting thing of what her problem is going on with that, and that's a great scene in and of itself as well. So I think it's a good round table of where everybody is at, and kind of, it's like the bomb went off and now everyone's like getting up and patting the dust off and being like, okay, who's alive and who's not and what's going on.
There we
here,
go.
You know,
there's the analogy.
Yeah.
There's the one that works.
Now I just sit down after each analogy and some guy dabs my forehead with a towel. I'm like, there's like a fan on me.
If I didn't let that one go, I was just gonna explode.
Yeah, there we go.
I think this is a great episode. I think, like here's my thing. There's no bad episode of Breaking Bad. I think, with shows like this or The Sopranos, there's no real bad episode because these are characters that are really just so compelling no matter what the fuck they do, right? I mean, like no matter who they interact with, they're always just so compelling and they're just so fun to watch, for me at least. I don't think there's one really, like there's one bad egg,
Right.
I think some episodes are not as strong as others, for sure, but a bad episode? No, get the fuck out of here. I think this is a good episode, like what you said, Colin. It's interesting to me that Walter is kind of like at rock bottom following his decision to not cook anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that decision was automatically going to fix something.
Yeah.
That's just not the case, right? I mean, like, it didn't do anything. It made things worse. I mean, like, he told the truth. What he thought, at the time might have been the right thing to do, ultimately drove his family away. So it's that is so interesting to me, that he was like trying to do, quote, the right thing. But ultimately it ended up with Skyler leaving him, and now he's in isolation. And he's in a bad spot, really. And I just thought that was like a really interesting element. Whereas, like on the other end of the spectrum is Jesse, following Walt's decision to no longer cook, and obviously Jesse's no longer going to cook after Jane's death. He is now on the uptick and in recovery, and he's making positive moves to better his life. And the fact that he gets to spot his parents, I think, is a bonus for him.
Right? Yeah. It's like the living well is the best revenge Sunday. It's like
right.
That's good stuff.
Exactly. He got his cake and he got to eat it too, right? Kind of thing. So, I love this show is kind of like an intersection between Walt and Jesse's characters, and to see one character in Walt being at rock bottom and one character being Jesse on his way up is really, really interesting to me. It's really, really telling that the lawyer in this episode is just so money hungry. Like, I mean, when I'm talking about Saul, like, he's
okay.
Can you talk to Can you talk to your partner? Maybe he wants to get back into it.
Yeah,
he's just so
he's got the
protected.
itch.
Right, like he just wants his revenue stream. And I think like there are. When I say that there wasn't any cartel stuff in this episode, that was a lie. I mean, there are things happening in the background in this episode. I mean, you've got Hank briefing his DEA team about goings on near the border, about the extra crispies as he calls them.
Jesus.
He's so like we already have at home Hank's kind of like psychological, I guess, mind state. Like I think he calls them extra crispies because I think he's trying to keep them as at arm's length to try and not think of them as humans so they don't affect him too much. But like there's the whole thing with the twins meeting with Hector with the Ouija board, and then them showing up to Walt's place later in the end of the episode. So there are things that are happening. There are pieces on the board being moved around. It's just all about kind of like getting them together. But this episode really focuses on family and family relations, and people pushing family members away. Like Skyler is really wanting to push Walt away, and Jesse is pushing his parents away.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me. I really enjoyed this episode from that perspective alone.
Wait, so you said Skyler's pushing Walt away, Jesse's pushing his parents away, right? And then you have Walt Jr. pushing Skyler away as well. And I was like, wow, shit, that's another one. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
You have these like consequences. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this is a really strong episode. I think the writing in this season especially, season 3 is an absolute cracker of a season of Breaking Bad. This is when things go into the stratosphere. We get more Gustavo Fring. We get more of the cartel, as we've already seen. More of the Salamancas coming into it as well.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because by the way, if you really have never listened to this, I have not seen past this episode, so I only know of the knowledge up until this. So just I only can watch them one at a time. It's Dos Pollos Hermanos is the restaurant, right?
It's Los Pollos Hermanos. The chicken man.
The chicken man. Well, I was
the
like
chicken brothers.
The chicken. Yeah, I was like, wait, Hermano or Aubrey? So I was like, the chicken brothers is like, is it are the chicken brothers the two twins?
It's not a spoiler for me to say no.
Okay, cool. That's all I needed to know. Yeah, that's literally all I was just like, wait a minute, are they the brothers who like? But I was like, well, why would the people who run this shit go out and do a hit themselves? It's like, it doesn't really make any sense.
No, just for the sake of clarity, I answered that question, and it's going to be like, no, they don't own it. They don't have anything to do with the restaurant, with the chain.
Okay.
You'll find out who the Chicken Brothers are. And the answer is, it's not obvious. It's really interesting. But yeah.
Have we met them already?
Yeah, partially.
Okay. Interesting. The plot thickens.
The plot thickens, sir. Okay, here we go. Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
So we open with Walt casually driving along in the desert, singing along. All right.
By the band America. Great song.
Also roughly translates the episode title, right? Caballo sin nombre, horse without a name.
Oh,
horse
nice.
without name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Horse with no name.
Yeah. And he gets pulled over, right? Just Walt's luck. He's probably thinking, as I've given up on the game, here I am about to face the music. Walt's adamantly trying to remind the cop of Wayfarer 515. It's interesting that he's trying to use it as a scapegoat to get out of getting a ticket, right? I mean, it's like, here's this mass murder that I helped part in, but also don't give me a goddamn ticket. But the cop doesn't back down. Walt gets out, right, and he says, "It's time for you to listen to me." What do you think about him saying that to the cop and in that way? Like, I mean, do you think this is like he's having some kind of like withdrawal of like not being able to control someone?
I think partially, part of it is just kind of like, the thrill. I think that this is, him getting in a cop's face and taking control of a situation and telling him to fuck off. There's kind of a maybe a thrill in that, but also like I don't totally disagree with Walt. Like, yeah, he's a piece of shit, and yeah, he definitely caused this, but like, imagine nowadays, this is like the clip that goes viral on ABC. It's like, it's like in New Mexico, a school teacher with cancer is stopped by, and it's like a clip that goes viral, and then everybody looks like shit by the end of it, because it's like a guy with cancer. And this shit hits his car, and what is it, like a week or two ago? All this shit happens, and this cop maces him. Like, dude, this guy's gonna get so many death threats in fucking 2021. Are you kidding me? But yeah, it is kind of like, you can't drive with your fucking windshield like that, man. Like, come on,
no. No.
It's like, well, it's not like you can't buy a new car or just fix your windshield, dude. Like, come on, you've got how much money sitting in the bag? Is sitting in that bag? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, this opening is really strong. I think, like, in terms of like, I like to see it as Walt not being in the game anymore, Walt not being connected to Skyler anymore. He doesn't have, there's no one bossing him around, and he's not able to boss anyone around. So I think there's like, there's this level of entitlement when he gets out and he's like, it's time for you to listen to me. He's trying to like get that feeling of control back. And I don't like that's how I see it. But this is great. He gets pepper sprayed. Dude, I love the hard cut to him just being hauled into the back seat of the cruiser. It's brilliant. It's good stuff. And then we get the title card. Right? Hank's briefing his team on the twins barbecuing the truck near the border. They're not transporting narcotics. Hank believes this is high-end cartel work. Maybe one of those extra crispies knew something he shouldn't, says Hank. Talk to me.
Just disappointing. I begin to like Hank, and then it's like, God, I know so many people like you, and I just don't like any of them. I just don't. And it's I get it. You deal with this day in and day out. You're not going to be like, guys, everybody gather around. So there's a truck outside the border. It's like, dude, this is a Monday for them. They don't give a fuck. So I get it to some degree, but with Hank, it's just God. I think it's just because everybody knows some guy like that, and they're so fucking annoying. I just can't stand them.
Right. Gomi notes that it's been 29 days since the blue meth was on the streets, right? A pretty important detail because they're picking up on the fact that, I mean, like, we know that Walt stopped cooking, right? So, yeah. Hank receives Walt's call, presumably asking him for help. And it's interesting to me that Walt relies on his family, but he probably won't do the same if he were in their position. Probably.
Wait, how do you mean?
Okay, well... Let's say Walt is Hank, right? Walt's in Hank's position.
Yeah.
He's a DEA, he's an officer, whatever. He receives a call from Hank, who's in booking, and asking, "Hey, Walt, can you come help me out? I'm in jail." Being Walt and being the character of Walt, someone who's so self-centered and kind of like, I'm busy kind of thing. I don't know if Walt helps Hank out in this situation.
I think if it's anybody outside of the immediate family, I could see that. Like if this were Jesse, like hell no. If this were Saul, like hell no. But with Hank, it's like I'm gonna get bitched at by Skyler if I don't do this, And I think also it's something where Hank is so subconsciously emasculating Walt all the time, because Hank is just so this like alpha male, and that's kind of like what Walt I think is trying. He's trying to be this like he's trying to be a shot caller, he's trying to be the boss bitch, and I think it's kind of funny that with Walt, I think Walt would definitely do it for Hank, because he would kind of get a little bit of a trip off of like, yeah, and I'm the one who had to come and bail your ass out, kind of thing. Something to hold over.
I can see that. That's a good point. Yeah. Jesse goes to visit his parents' house where there's work being done. Turns out they're selling the place. And it's interesting when he's talking to his father, because you kind of get the sense that there's not much that they can bond over. Like, like when you talk to someone and you're just like, so, how's the weather today?
Right.
Like, there's not that much to talk about. Like, he's talking about like, yeah, right, good resale value. Like, Jesse knows what the fuck resale value is all about.
This is like Step Brothers when they're all depressed and adults at the end, and he's like, yeah, that's it's rather amusing. And Mary Steenburgen's like, I think I'm gonna cry. It's so weird. It's so good.
The father doesn't want to let him into the house, right? He says there are pictures on the website you can see.
Good God. I mean, I don't know, because
and look, it is. I think it is heartbreaking when his dad kind of shrugs off Jesse's suggestion for coming around for dinner, right?
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, sometime.
And
I'm just like,
I don't know. It's hard for me. Like, I do like seeing them get their, just desserts at the end of this episode, but at the same time, like, man, I'm not a parent, and I don't know what it would be like to have this kid. I mean, this is like Jesse's 12th strike, like seems like he's just been on, strike after strike after strike. Like he's got a fucking 0 batting average, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from, because like I've had to, not as a parent, but as a family member to somebody, kind of deal with that situation before. And there's only so many times you can really be like, okay, dude, like I can't, I'm making excuses for you, kind of thing. So like I from a personal point, I do get where they're coming from, but at the same time, narratively, I do kind of like seeing, I think it's important for Jesse's character to just be like, boom, like wall, like we're done. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of putting a line in the sand with his parents and showing them, hey, this is where things are. I do like that as a narrative aspect, though. I like that a lot.
I got a question for you, and this is something that I ask you almost every week, whether it's here on this feed or in Midnight Double Feature. Where are you up to on The Sopranos?
Same. We haven't really been watching it. I ended up getting into Marianne and watching a bunch of Halloween shit recently, but God, I could go for some woke up this morning.
I was I was going to make a comparison to something that happens to a character in that, but I don't want to spoil it. It's major, so I don't want to.
I probably know what it is, but I mean, for people who maybe haven't watched Sopranos yet, yeah, well, maybe that's fair.
I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, the only reason I bring it up is because I just finished the Sopranos rewatch and it's fresh in my mind. Yeah, but like, yeah, it's yeah, I get what you mean. Like the 3 strikes you're out, but like, hey, like this is. There's a point where, because you know that they're your parents, you're going to take advantage of them a bit more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I asked you for money, Colin, like I will be very, very, I'll come to you with like hat in hand. I'll be like, dude, like I don't usually do this, like, whatever. But like if it's my parents, I'll just be like, hey, can I borrow some money, please?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole dynamic that's different.
Yeah, well, it's very, you don't know how to dance that with that person yet. And I end up being that person who's very like, hey, dude, it's totally cool if I just had an idea. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. If you do, hey, I'm totally down for that too. And it's like, I'm always the person who has like a paragraph of like, if you're cool with it and, you're not doing anything, I'm always that kind of, but yeah, if it's my brother or something, I'm like, hey, you got a cigarette? Like, it's definitely like, dude, like, go get me a Sprite, like something like that.
That's it, yeah. It's all about family dynamic, or whoever you're talking about. Like, but by the way, thanks for transferring me that $2,000. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
But anyway, so we're in the police station. Walt's hearing Hank providing the police with excuses. Basically, just a description of how pathetic Walt is, which must be fucking grinding at Walt.
Yeah.
Must be eating away at him.
Yeah, to have to call on him for help in the first place, but then hear Hank kind of be like, yeah, he's just, he's kind of a bitch. He's pathetic. It's it's hard for us as a viewer to endure that, but at Walt, that's gonna be like just the knife in the rib as he's already down on the ground. It's like your kids are gone, your wife's gone, you've lost everything, and you've had cancer, like all this shit, and at the end of it, Hank has to be the one to be like, yeah, the guy's he's just going through a lot right now. It's like, dude, you hate to be that guy,
And then to compound that with, officer, I'm very sorry that I lost my temper. There was no excuse for my behavior. It was disrespectful. Like being treated like a child, a literal child, like someone who might as well be in the 5th grade for swearing at a teacher. Like that's what it is. Yeah,
it feels very almost like a Norman Rockwell, like the kid in the hallway, and there's like the principal and the mom and the dad, and I'd say, but the fact that the cop, once he apologizes, the cop is just like, okay, he's cool. And it's like, dude, you couldn't at least be like, hey, I'm sorry as well. Like, let's just shake hands and call it a day. Like, that's me. To me, that's like being a good human being, or just being a man about it. It's just like, hey, let me shake your hand. We're all cool. Let's go our separate ways. But this guy's just kind of like, all right, that satisfies me. He's good. This pathetic cancer divorcee, yeah, he's cool. It's like, Jesus fuck, man. That guy's a dick. I hate that cop.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think about the cops' kind of conduct outside of this situation? I mean, like, going back to the beginning of the episode, I like the whole when he's like, down means off about the music, right?
Fuck him!
I thought that was a little aggressive.
No, off means off, motherfucker. Down means down. Like, oh god damn it! Why did you have to point that out?
There's no need for that level of. And I'm not anti-police, right? I'm not anti-authority. But down means off. Like, you don't need to bring a whole level of attitude to this situation.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I was curious to see what you thought about that. That's interesting. And then Walt confides in Hank, tells him that Skyler's divorcing him and that she doesn't want him to see the kids. Yeah. There we go. I love how Hank always reacts to personal shit like this. He's just like, oh. Off.
Yeah, Hank's the guy with 1,000 jokes and like no solid advice. Right. It's like,
right.
Well, maybe I guess he hasn't really been through this before, but like Hank's known plenty of guys that have gotten divorced, and it's like
sure.
I feel like Hank is just in a tough spot because it's like, man, I want to support you, but I can't because maybe you did something, I don't know what happened. Like everybody's kind of in a tough spot when it comes to this.
Saul pays Walt a visit, and he reassures Walt that she won't go to the cops because it could be a disaster for her. Paging Dr. Phil, my daddy's a drug dealer and my mom turned him in.
I loved when he popped up at the door. I was like, awesome, dude. I haven't seen him yet. Yeah. Awesome.
I love him. I love him so much. I love Bob Odenkirk, by the way. I'm so glad you're recovered from your heart attack.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I hope you live a long and happy life.
That's scary. Yeah, you
are a saint.
He's a gem. He's a rarity. Yeah. I love Bob Odenkirk.
Totally. But he makes some solid points here as to why she won't go to the police. Like solid points.
Dude, this is like some of the this is devious. This is some devious shit, dude, and it's so cunning. And just like, he'll be lucky if they fucking let him keep his job because, you're the biggest meth supplier in the state, or probably multiple state cluster that you're in, and he didn't even know. It's like in your own home. Like that's that's outrageous. And I do think that, he makes some good points about Skyler, but I also have I don't know. I also think while we're on the subject, Skyler's a little naive when it comes to this stuff. And I think that this is like, I don't mean that in a way of like, oh, she's a woman, she doesn't understand. Like, you're fucking with, like, she doesn't know how deep Walt is in. And now that there are other parties that will do anything to keep Walt invested and to keep him going. And you know, the fact that Walt doesn't lift a finger or do anything, and his house is being monitored, people show up to kill him, his life is saved by, you know, basically they say, hey, don't you know, call off the hit, whatever, and all of that happens, and Walt doesn't even lift a finger to do it. And I think that Skyler being like, well, I'll just go to the cops, it's like, you will wake up, like, somebody will find your head in a box somewhere if you do that shit. Like, and it's not like, you know, I'm not trying to say that she's stupid or that she just doesn't understand, I think, like, the level to which Walt has gone into this, you know, and the fact that she could really be putting a lot of people in danger by doing that. I think that's an interesting dynamic, is that she hasn't really seen the people that Walt's had to deal with yet, I guess, you know, and how his downfall would absolutely connect to a lot of their downfalls as well.
Well, that all comes back to just how pathetic Walt is, or makes himself out to be, because it's all in the same vein of underestimating him. Like, you know, like she's never going to be like, oh, Walt is capable of murder, Walt is capable of this, you know.
Yeah.
Like, she's never going to reach that point. Like, she's like, all she knows is that he's a meth manufacturer, right? And like, she doesn't know to what extent. Right,
yeah,
like, she doesn't know
imagine
all these
Walt
details
coming out and being like, yeah, I dissolved a kid's body in a bathtub, and her, like,
right,
oh my god,
yeah,
her jaw,
exactly.
she wouldn't be able to pick her jaw
She'll
up
want
off the
proof.
floor.
She'll want proof because she won't believe it.
Right. Yeah. And it makes me think of when she confronted Jesse. Was that the first season where she confronts Jesse and she's pregnant? Yeah. And it's like, lady, you have no idea. This could have ended very badly for you. Like, whew, like, it makes me, it's not like, God, stupid bitch, but it makes me, like, nervous for her. It's like, please be careful, dude. Like, you don't know how bad this can really get.
For sure. Saul suggests that there's plenty of other fish in the sea. He's like, man, there's women from Thailand and Czechoslovakians. They just happen to be here.
God, that's like Bill Paxton in True Lines. Like, that seems like a line. Man, got an ass like a 10-year-old boy. What the fuck?
Arnold knocks him out. And Walt says that he can't be the bad guy, right? He says it twice. So much like as if he's trying to convince himself.
Right. Well, and also in, I guess, you know, hearkening back to Jesse's thing as well. I like the fact that Jesse's just accepted, like, no, I am the Vader of this story. And Walt's still like, no, I'm Obi-Wan. It's like, no, dude, you're like the Emperor. Like, you're even worse. You know, you have no idea. On
the same couch, right? I mean, didn't Jesse acknowledge that right here in this room?
Yeah. Same spot.
Mike's spending time with his granddaughter. Anytime we cut to Mike, I'm in love. I love Mike. I love Mike Ehrmantraut. Such a great character. He's spending time with his granddaughter when he receives a call from Saul. He says, "It's me. We may have a wife problem." And Mike takes down the address. And then we get this dinner scene with Hank and Marie. Hank makes a joke about the raw fish that Marie's eating. 2-day drive from the nearest ocean, and you're eating raw fish.
That sushi looks good, though. Holy hell.
I'm not a big sushi guy. It's just never been a food that I've,
Oh, dude.
I'm not a big seafood guy in general, I think.
Yeah, I know. I don't, I haven't been eating meat, period, recently, but California rolls are delicious if you're going to start with sushi. They don't have any fish in them. It's like avocado, maybe imitation crab, like some seaweed, rice, you know, stuff like that. But they're like kind of the beginners, like sushi, you know, like no terrible raw fish and stuff. Dude, it's so good. It really, it's the way they cook the rice. It's so good. But this is so entertaining, I guess. But I mean, this is also the first time I feel like we've seen Marie in a while. Has it been that long?
Didn't we see it last episode?
Maybe, but if for a second, like, I feel like this is the most screen time she's gotten in like 5 or 6 episodes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, literally, like in the last episode, we had her, she's like, out of the mouths of babes, huh? And then, like, you know, she's trying to find out why Skyler kind of, in effect, dumped Walt.
Right.
But like, this is a bit different. This is a bit more of a media scene. Walt Jr. is pissed about being called Flynn. He notes that Walt's eyes are red from crying at school. He lashes out at Skyler, saying that she doesn't care about him anymore. Why are you gonna be such a bitch?
Oh, it's rough.
It's rough.
I love the scene in general. I especially love the way that they light Skyler's face. There's some, and I mean, like I just objectively, like, there's this scene is just like, God, they make Anna Gunn look, I mean, she is gorgeous, but it's like they make her look fucking beautiful in that lighting. Like it is a astonishingly, when it's cutting back and forth between her talking with her and Walt Jr., it's astonishingly shot. And I was like, God, she, like, it just the most striking eyes when she's looking at you, and it's like, man, I've never really appreciated that before. Just the way that she's shot and lit. It's a very dimly lit scene, and I think that's all the lights are off except for them in the kitchen and shit, and it's just kind of like, man, this is a house now, this is not a home, this feels weird. It's
interesting, like that. It's interesting that you bring up the lighting, because I think it kind of makes her look a bit more sympathetic. Like, I mean, she is being called a bitch in this scene, so
right. Yeah,
I think you're onto something.
And it's hard too, because we've never really seen Walt Jr., I guess, lash out like that to that degree. It really shows you that even though
to Skyler.
Right, to Skyler, yeah. But I think it kind of shows that, you know, he and Walt Sr. have been kind of at odds at times and not really on the same page. And for him to react this aggressively to it really kind of shows where it was like, man, all that was really, I don't want to say materialistic stuff, but like it seems like a lot of that was insignificant compared to this.
Right.
Because
this
now
puts everything into context.
Yeah. In a weird way, it's like mama bear shit, you know, but it's like your son. If that's a weird way to describe it, I know, but.
My favorite part of this is Hank reacting to her being like, I love.
What if Hank grabbed him by the neck and was like, "What did you say?" It just slams him into the fucking floor. He turns into like Michael Chiklis from S.H.I.E.L.D. and he just starts slamming him into the fucking floor.
Where are the drugs? Oh, wait.
Things smash. It's clobbering time. And just start fucking wailing on him.
Swear to me.
And just look down, and he's just like a puddle of like red meat. Oh my God.
I just love Hank reacting to this, though. Like, I love him standing up being like, hey, you can't talk to your mother like that. Like, you know, just like, he has no skin in this conversation at all.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's just such a great uncle moment, you know?
Yeah. As an uncle, I would definitely step and be like, hey, whoa, no, we're not doing that shit, dude. No.
Right. Hank questions her decision to keep Walt from the kids. She says, you're right, Hank. It's none of your business. Ice cold, man.
Ice
cold. Hank and Marie have this conversation out on the driveway. Hank believes that Walt cheated on Skyler, but Marie's intuition suggests otherwise. It just feels like something more.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, hats off to Marie. I mean, obviously, she's 100% right. But just walk it back, you know, reverse engineer it, kind of deduce. Man, if it's an affair, like, I guess that you could say that Skyler feels that humiliated. But at the same time, you know, that's not like, I don't know. You know, like she said,
she would know her sister best, right? I mean, she'd know her best.
Right. And I think that the same thing where Skyler was kind of on to Marie about like the stealing and shit. You know, it's like, I think Maria can kind of deduce, it's like, no, something else is going on here. You know, for it to be that, why? It's like, if that is the case, why would you just not tell that, you know, tell me? It's not going to hurt anything, you know. I don't know. It's interesting. I like her deductive reasoning here.
Yeah. Jesse goes to Saul to collect his money while Saul is trying to convince Jesse to talk to Walt into reconsidering changing his mind about cooking. Because I mean that's who Saul is. He's very much a parasite. Like, he'll latch onto you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we'll get to know him a bit later down the track and stuff like that, but that's him. And Jesse gives Saul a job. I love that Jesse is almost entirely silent this entire scene.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's all Saul just doing the talking. What do you think the idea is behind Walt cleaning the pool at the motel or the apartment blocks?
You know, Before I get into that, I do want to say one thing about that scene with Saul and
please.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it didn't exist. I would love if it were a reveal at the end that Jesse was just surprise. That's the only thing. I mean, I would change about that. But going on to your original question about seeing Walt clean the pool, I don't know if it's just force of habit, because we see him around that pool so much, and it's just got to be a thing of, why stop and get this one little, insignificant thing, but it might, I think it's just kind of, could be control, could be familiarity, could be a lot of different things,
I was thinking about futility. I mean, like, not so much that, like, he's cleaning the pool, but, like, more the fact that, like, it doesn't really matter whether he cleans it or not. It doesn't make a difference to him, and it's not going to change anything. I just feel like he's really wanting to change things. That's my kind of like read on it. Like, it is one of those things that happens in a TV show or like a movie or something that you're watching that's way up for interpretation, but is definitely not in there by mistake. Like, there's no way a writer puts this in by mistake or just to it not mean anything.
Yeah, it's got a lot of different avenues it can go down for sure.
Totally. And adorably, Walt finds Walt Jr. sitting outside his apartment waiting for him.
Loved it
too. Yeah. The twins find Hector at the retirement home. Dude, how long was this conversation going to be if they didn't have the Ouija board?
Yeah. One of them's just going like A, B, C, and part of it kind of cracks me up because they get the Ouija board out, but it's like, what would you have done if you didn't have maybe one of you might have to talk? Like, you might have to just go A, B, C, ding, 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 like, come on, dude. It's cool. I guess I like the Ouija board because it's like, symbolic tapping into some kind of greater evil. This guy definitely seems, like like he's, because this is this Tuco's uncle or dad?
This is Tuco's uncle.
That's right. Okay.
Grandfather? Uncle. Uncle.
I was going to say, yeah. So we know that the kind of background he comes from, and if this is Tuco's uncle and he's lived this long, he's fucking slit some throats if he's been in this game. So he's a dangerous man.
Yeah, baby, he's a dangerous man. But I like that none of these characters talk because it forces them to convey the meaning visually, all of it visually. Like, I mean, we talked about this in the last episode when they're crawling, right? I mean, when you have these twins on screen, everything needs to be conveyed visually. Like, I mean, it forces the director, it forces the writers to get the message across to the audience as visually as possible without any dialogue. And is that a challenge that I appreciate? I mean, I really dig that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hector provides the twins with a name, right? Walter White. And then we get Skyler and Ted. Skyler tells Ted that the issues with the bookkeeping are absolutely glaring. Revenue with no backup. She's clearly also not wearing her wedding ring, as she points to the book, which only caught on this watch. I only caught on this watch. She points
right there. Yeah, I just watched it. It's fucking right there.
And Ted sees it, and then you'll notice her bring her hand back up to her neck, as if she's kind of like ashamed of it. Watch it again if you see it, because like I only caught this time around. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that's a good catch, because I remember watching this and being like, there's something kind of awkward there. I need to fight. And it's like seeing it now. It's like, oh, it's right fucking there.
Right. So already she's kind of making some moves or some kind of like advancement, or she's lashing out. She wants to hurt Walt. There's that's all up in the air. But she asked Ted what his kids would think when they found out, and he responds with the fact that he hasn't given it much thought. Right? He's just trying to keep his head above water, which is interesting because like this is obviously she's trying to find a way out, or she's trying to find answers as to how
trying to translate
her own situation.
Like it's like trying to translate an equation to a different language. It's like it's the same kind of problem, but it's just a different. It's just a different kind of language over here. Because
the analogies,
I know it's like I don't, and I 100% do not know why I do that, but I do it all the time. Someone at work, because we build houses and I cut boards, and people say, hey, yeah, so you need this board and then this board and this board. I'm like, so it's like an Oreo. And they're like, yes, it's like an Oreo, and you need this one in the middle. And I'm like, cool. And ever since then, I've got it perfectly. But I would be perfect in like a Grimm's fairy tale. Just an old guy with a big red beard who lives under a tree and speaks in fucking riddles and
just speaks in metaphors. It would drive me insane, dude. Just give me a straight answer, motherfucker.
But yeah, I really feel for Skyler in this, because you got to think what everything that Skyler's going through. Her son resents her. Her husband's a meth dealer. She has a newborn baby. Her boss is doing some shit at work that could easily get them shut down. She doesn't want to be an active participant in what's going on. Her sister's kind of sniffing around what's going on, and her brother-in-law is a DEA agent. And it's like, whew, if there's somebody I feel for, it's probably Skyler. It's a lot of fucking shit on your plate, dude.
It's a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. A lot of pressure. Walt calls Skyler about Junior coming to visit him. This annoys Junior, but Walt tells him that she has her reasons. Ultimately, I really like this conversation. Like, Walt says that it's not about taking sides and that this has nothing to do with how they feel about Junior and Holly. This feels surprisingly progressive for Walt. And I wonder, like, what's your thoughts about this whole conversation with Junior?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of it's kind of bullshit. I think that Walter is seeing this as an opportunity to get his foot back in the door.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely highlighted with the pizza, right? I mean, like,
right. And his eagerness when he's on the phone with Skyler, he's a little too eager, and I think he's trying his best to explain it to Walter Jr. without giving him like the full Monty, telling him everything that's going on. But ultimately it's one of those things where it's a hard line to cross, and I think that's why Walt hurts a lot of his loved ones, is because you're living this dual life that you're having to push all these people back away at arm's length, but still trying to get some kind of meaning out of a relationship. And it's hard to do that, man. It's like you're loving people with conditions. That's not really possible. And I think this is a good example of that. He's trying to skirt the issue as best that he can, but he's like, I want you to be my son, but I can't let you know every single thing about me. It's like, I'm not saying I knew every single thing about my dad, but I know he didn't fucking sell meth. Like, come on, dude. Yeah. That's a big, I don't know if my dad preferred hamburgers or hot dogs, but I'm pretty sure he never like ran the streets with Pablo Escobar. It's like, come on.
Oh man. Well, I mean, look, there's nothing I like more than two lawyers just going at it, man. So this scene I love this scene. I cannot watch this scene more times, especially when you factor in what happens at the end. So Saul meets with Jesse's parents and their lawyer. This is all incredible. I howled. I nearly spat my drink when their lawyer is really keen to get into it, and he's just like, flat fee clients, am I
right? Dude, I'd laugh my fucking ass off, dude. I was watching Bob's Burgers, and Steve Buscemi's a lawyer on that, and they're like, hey, we need a lawyer, blah, blah, and they show up, and he's talking really fast, and he's doing stuff, and he was like, oh, this sounds like something that would happen for, an hourly wage instead. He's like, so let me tell you guys a story. And Bob's like, no, everybody get out of here. And like, he's slowing down his speech and starts telling stories. And the look on that lawyer's face is so like, oh man. Like,
right. They want $875 and Saul just goes, why don't you wiggle us down to $400 and we got a deal?
Oh
man. Like, this is, imagine being the parents in this situation. Like, this is terrifying. I mean, like, they put that much into the renovations alone, and Saul is quick to remind them of the meth lab in the basement, which stops them in their tracks real quick.
Oh, it's great, man. I feel bad. I can't blame them. It's like they're trying to sell this house. Is the house really worth $875,000? Like, probably after all the renovations and stuff.
It's a big house.
Yeah, it's a really nice house. But the it's kind of like, but it's like, it's kind of like Jesse's using a situation that he created to his advantage, and it's like, you're the fucking problem. Motherfucker, you're the meth lab. Like, I want to be on your side, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think that this is kind of, Jesse turning to the dark side a little bit, where it's like, you put your parents through hell for the last, however many years. You've put them through hell. You've given them, or they've given you probably chance after chance after chance after chance, and then you fuck up something for them, and they're just trying to do the best that they can and remodel this house and get it out there, and then you cash in on the fact that you're the one who turned this thing, $475,000 down in value. So it's kind of like, man, you're kind of a shitbag. It's great. I love watching it, and I want to really enjoy it.
Very much a Walt move. Like,
kind of, yeah.
Petty, but yeah.
Right. This doesn't, like, I thought Jesse would come out and just be like, hey, I'll pay the $870. Well, it seems like that would be something of real change. Of like, living well is the best revenge. I've moved on. You guys do your thing. I'm happy. But this is kind of like, no, the knife is already in. I want to break the handle off. It's like, God, that's it's hard to watch, man. It's real slimy. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. It's an interesting moment in the show for sure. An interesting moment for Jesse. Walt brings Junior home with a nice pizza, which Skyler does not accept, right? She takes Junior's bag and isn't having a bar of Walt's insistence to hash things out like adults. Dude, I love his, like, pathetic, I've got dipping sticks. Okay, so this pizza throw is actually kind of iconic. It became a meme. The pie was not supposed to come out of the box and land so perfectly on the roof. If you watch it closely, you can even see Bryan Cranston do a quick double take. Like, he looks up real quick and be like,
yeah.
What that? Also, this caused a lot of visitors in Albuquerque to go to the Real House and throw pizzas on the roof.
I was going to mention this. Yeah, these people have been tortured.
Yeah, so much so that Vince Gilligan actually had to make a public statement about it.
Yeah, it's like the lady that bought the Goonies house. She's like, please stop pulling up in front of my house and doing the truffle shuffle. She's like, it's weird. I can't. It's like,
what?
It's like,
what fucking idiots. I don't understand that mentality.
That's like, I personally, I don't understand, because I think even Rick and Morty has some tributes to this as well. I think there's episodes where there's like a pizza on top of, a Beth's house and stuff. But yeah, super iconic. And I mean, probably one of the most iconic no acting required moments ever,
Yeah. I love the double take. Like, just knowing that that's real on Bryan Cranston's part, and he just like has to keep heading towards the car.
Yeah, just watch it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Next morning, Walt wakes up on the floor of his room, his face in popcorn. I love him coming to, and he sees the eyeball of the stuffed bear under the bed. Just, I don't know, really, really haunting and unsettling. And Skyler's leaving him a voicemail about the pizza, telling him to keep his distance or she'll get a restraining order. Walt bangs his head on the underside of the table before grabbing his crotch. Restrain this, he says.
Well, part of me wonders, it's like, is Walt drunk, or did he have some kind of health issue and black out? Because he's kind of still been coughing. And I was like, okay, so did you black out? Something tells me Walt is not, like, because cancer, that, basically last season they were like, yeah, you're fine. And I feel like that's been on the back burner way too long. Like, I feel like that's been back there just kind of charging up, and they're going to be like, remission? Yeah, like, hey, it's back and it's something's going on and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe that's just kind of my half-assed prediction, but
it's not for me to answer right now, whether what happens or not. But I mean, Walt doesn't take well to bad news, and him, his kind of like Skyler's rejection of him at the door. I mean, like, like that whole thing. Whether it is his sickness that contributes to, I guess, like, if he had like an episode and, he goes home and or he just drinks his guts out. I don't know. Like, I think the bottom line there is that Walt just doesn't take rejection well. You know,
Right.
I think that's ultimately what we're trying to get to here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, Jesse rolls up like a fucking boss to take ownership of his house, man. This is such a great moment, especially, you know, because we see it from the perspective of the parents, right? You got the dad being like, oh God, this is just what we need, as he pulls up, and, you know, the mom's just chasing him, being like, Jesse, you can't go in there. Like, you know, like, oh, this is so good. So good.
Yeah. And the fleeting kind of glimpse he gives him. And it's not even enough. Like, it's not like Jesse opens up the door and goes like, get off my lawn. It's like Jesse literally doesn't even take the time to tell them anything. He's like, just stew in it and just shuts the door. I love that.
Right. It's good. It's good stuff. Mike rolls up to the white residence to install listening devices. I love him, dude. I love Mike walking up and just like looking up quickly to glance at the pizza on the roof.
Yeah.
He must be like wondering, like, what the fuck is that? And who rolls up but Walt, right? Forcibly moving himself back into the house. This is a long scene, so I'm just gonna go ahead and roll through it, and we can reflect on it.
Yeah.
Mike rolls out, sits in the car where he observes the twins rolling up. The twins walk through the house. There's a real quick moment when they look at an image of an ultrasound in the fridge, and one of them just touches it. It's really creepy.
Yeah.
The chrome axe, right? Really wild. And then Mike calls Gus, which ultimately saves Walt's life, right? That's how the episode ends. So let's just talk about this scene as a whole. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, man. Dave Porter's music is really great. It's that percussive like theme that he has going on through the entire show, but like it really, really adds to the confusing nature of what the fuck's about to happen. You know, I love the close-ups. Michael Slovis is a cinematographer. The shot of like them sitting on the bed, and you get the really quick close-up of one of them tapping his fingers on the chrome axe. Is gorgeous. And Walt is none the wiser, right? Like Walt's just, you know, in the shower singing "Horse with No Name." This is a great scene, dude. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I like it. I like the tension in it a lot. I like the kind of cat and mouse of like Walt doesn't know the twins are there. The twins don't know Mike is there. Like I like all of that. It's like the meme of the people in the church and like everybody has a gun on everybody, and then there's like a sniper in the towers. But the thing that gives me anxiety about this scene is Walt, and it's kind of like, dude, how the fuck do you think this is gonna go down? Like, how do you think this is gonna end? And it makes me like almost not like it, because I'm like, Walt's not that fucking stupid. You know, it's like this feels like something a stupid person does, but we haven't really seen Walt be put in this position yet. We haven't really seen him have to become irrational. And I think that's what's hard to swallow about this, is that it's a very irrational act from Walter, and that's not something we see out of him very often, you know. But I think this is like a desperate, irrational act of like, you're literally just gonna force your way into the house and move your stuff back in. Like, you're out of your fucking mind, dude.
Yeah, no, totally. What do you think about Mike's connection to Gus? That's new. Like, we haven't been. The only introduction or connection that we've seen with Mike is with Saul. We didn't know that he was connected to Gus at all. So it's interesting that he calls Gus directly. Well, he calls Victor, who gets in touch with Gus.
I would say interesting, but not. I wasn't too caught off guard by it, because it's like, well, Saul knows both of them. That's like a direct, contact right there. You know, and I think, I guess, what would you call it, Mike? Is he a cleaner? I guess you just, a fixer. He just kind of.
I'd call him a fixer. Yeah, I'd call him a fixer.
This is the guy that I want to be in these type of movies and shit. Like, I want to be the guy I don't want to kill anybody, but I'll wiretap somebody. I'll break into somebody's house. I'll follow somebody, but like, I don't want to kill anybody. And even though I'm probably setting them up to be killed, that's a whole other story. I think I'd rather be the guy who like, hey, I need a body be made gone. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Like, I'm cool with that. Somebody's got to do it.
Think about what we don't know about Mike that's been alluded to. So, like, I mean, the first time we've seen Mike was right after the death of Jane, where he just walks in, cleans the shit up, tells Jesse you don't say anything to the cops, and you just slaps him over the face on the kips. He obviously is a lot smarter than he, I guess, looks or like makes himself appear to be.
Yeah, he's very unassuming.
Very unassuming and very capable and very quiet and very introspective. Professional. Yeah. I love the way that Mike carries himself in this entire show. Throughout Better Call Saul as well. He's a massive part of Better Call Saul, the show.
He seems like a dude who is rarely caught off guard, Even when Walt rocks
always
up, he's like,
always in control.
He very calm. I love the shot of Walt getting into the crawl space and the camera pans over and Mike's just kind of like nonchalantly, just like almost like, like he's very just kind of like, okay. It's like, dude, most people would be like, dun, 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 like just running around and shit. And Mike's like, I'm just gonna stand over here.
Mike sighs as if he anticipated this happening, but he didn't want to anticipate this happening.
Right.
Like, he anticipated it happening, but it's just like
annoyed, mildly annoyed. I'm just like, okay,
yeah. What do you think about the twins? Right, bugging out when they get the message, Poyos.
I like
it. What do you? Okay, so what do you think about do you think Gus has a level of control over the twins, or what are your thoughts here? I'm wondering what your mind space is.
Well,
twins and Gus.
I feel like, I don't know what obviously there's some kind of Tuco's uncle. What is his name again?
Hector.
So I feel like Hector is somebody who it's like, it almost is like he's almost like Junior Soprano and Gus is like Tony, I feel like, but not that they're actually related. I just feel like Hector was maybe something bigger at a time and he still has some pull and he can still make certain calls, but that ultimately Gus it doesn't seem like there's a bigger fish than Gus, or, but I definitely sense something going on between Hector and Gus. Like, for Gus to call off that hit not only shows his faith and like reliance in Walt, but it also shows the power that he has over these people. And I think that's definitely going to cause a lot of conflict for Hector, because this is something that he directly said, hey, I want this done. And Gus like overrode him. It's just like, no, we're not doing that. Like, oof, that's going to be some beef, man.
So are you getting the sense that they're rivals or they're allies with differences?
I don't know. I definitely rivals now, but I could have seen them at some point almost be like mentor and protege, like a junior Tony Soprano kind of thing at some point, maybe. Like I said, I feel like they might have been part of the same group, and now Hector is just kind of more out of commission. But him being out of commission, being this older man, it makes him dangerous. And this is a desperate man. It feels like this dude who can only communicate through this bell. Whereas I feel like Gus is they're on two totally different playing fields, but I definitely get this sense from Hector of like, man, this guy's an angry fucking dude. Ding, 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 ding. The way he's hitting that bell is like, whew, this guy really fucking wants Walt dead. And I assume this is over Tuco, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is primarily over Tuco. Yeah.
Okay. I assume so, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. We're the end. That's it. That's the end of the episode.
Okay, word. Sorry. I forgot my episode already ended. I was watching it, but
no. So yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, the twins bug out and Walt is none the wiser, and that's the end of the episode.
I really genuinely thought as they were there and it was like Mike and then the twins, I was like, man, how could this get any crazier? I was like, I would love if Skyler, station wagon can pull back in and she's like, oh, I forgot my phone. And it's like, oh, that's so fun, because nobody is supposed to be there, and there's 4 fucking people in your house. And I was like, dude, if she showed up, I would just fucking, or like Marie is like dropping off something, and she just walks in like, Hank arrives. Shit, yeah, Hank, like, yeah, great episode, dude. I like this a lot. This was a lot of fun.
Solid. Yeah, really solid episode. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's it for this episode. Colin, do you have anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, thank you guys for listening. Rate and review us on iTunes. Check out the socials in the show notes, and sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/ Midnight Double Feature. It's $5. It's called The Green Room. It's one tier. You get 2 extra episodes a month. And again, that's patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature. And you can pretty much find everything at midnightdoublefeature.com. We got merch there too.
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. We will see you guys in another fortnight. Have a good one.